How we remember. It's my first piece to appear on cassette. Let's talk about it. You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Lightbath zone. Well, here we are. This is a big setup. There's a lot of stuff here. There's like 3 cases. There's my performance case that's very similar to what I used at Moogfest. There's like sort of a loom thing happening over here. And there's another one of my submodular cases with like basically a bunch of Chaos Devices stuff. And Magneto. And bam, the reverb is over there. What I'm doing is exploring the new tides. I'm controlling the 4 major parameters with the Monome Arc using Ansible's Levels app. And so right here, I have the filter Belgrade cutoff. I'm using 2 Belgrades, left and right channels. So it's stereo filtering. And that's why I need an external offset to be able to control that. So here we have it. The second one is the span of Belgrade, so that we can end up with, you know, I could go just that nice, smaller bandpass filter. This last control over here that you see me moving, that is Tide's smoothness, which is basically the same as the original Tide's smoothness, very similar, where the first part of it is sort of like a low pass filter. And then once you get up here, it starts wavefolding. And just gets brighter at the top and fuller. And this next one over here, this is the magic control. That's not what it's called. It's actually called shift or level control for tides. And that is what changes all of these harmonic ratios. Which basically is just changing the notes of the chord except for that root. So we hear the root always going, no matter what I do to this. But if we solo the second output rather, pretty nice, huh? And if we solo the third one, and the fourth one. And then all together. Here, actually, this is just 2, 3, and 4. Now the pulsing is happening because of Just Friends. Because currently I only own 1 of these new tides. And so I can't use a second tides in envelope mode to do kind of what Just Friends is doing, the same approach. And, you know, I could adjust the envelope. So what I did was lengthen the attack, you know, soften the attack. Now when the notes change, when I turn this, it's not being triggered during that, so it's going to, you're going to hear a sharper change from note to note. But Just Friends is cycling, so it's like an LFO, right? It's like 4 LFOs that are cycling on polyrhythmic relationships. And for what it's worth, I'm not going to be talking about all of the details in this video, because I have patch notes. I wrote patch notes, so just, you know, take a look at the patch notes if you have any really specific questions. But we're going to be talking concepts. I'm really just going to be showing you how cool it is. So here. So we'll go back to pulsing. I mean, this is really all I did for the piece. Oh, here. I forgot about that. So Magneto was doing things. Here it is without Magneto. And here's the root, the output 1 from Tides. And so what I did with Magneto, I would just bring in different, I'm in shift mode, and I would bring in different heads at different times. So let's say we'd bring in like 4, which is sort of the normal one. I don't even know. This is like my pizza talk with Emily Sprague. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, it's a Patreon only thing. But I, of course, highly recommend that you support me on Patreon. But it's a pretty fun 40-minute chat where we laugh about the fact that we don't understand so much of these modules. But so I'm bringing in head 4, and my understanding of it to this point is it's the normal one. Okay, that's what I tell myself, and that's just I don't even remember. I think it's like the quarter note. I think it's like the same as the tap. I could be wrong, but there's no shift on it. There's no pitch, so that's why it's normal. But then like head 2. There's higher notes right now. I think that's an octave up. That's what it sounds like to me. Or 2 octaves. I don't know. Whatever. But, you know, it doesn't sound like a 5th to me. And then there's like the octave down. And so I would fade in all those at different points of the piece to create movement and to build. And, you know, I might bring up the repeats, the regeneration, the feedback, whatever it's called. And it's called repeats on Magneto. As I'm jamming out this main knob, the 3rd knob on the arc, which is controlling the shift level, the notes. And then eventually I would bring in the 1st head, which is like, I think like an octave and a 5th up, or a 5th up, or just, yeah, an octave and a 5th. That really fast one, you're hearing a little bit on the right ear. So that's the main idea, you know, and build this, which is the smoothness, so it opens everything up. But I wouldn't have that 5th in there. I wouldn't have most of these delays up so high, delay heads up so high just yet. And then eventually, the piece here, let me quiet it down a little bit. The piece starts off with the pulsing, and it's called How We Remember, right? No, it's called How We Remember. So I started with the pulsing, and it's kind of like as if you have this structure. This structure is a practice you might have, something that you do every day to connect with what's important inside. And how we remember is going through this practice and getting this feedback loop of how it makes you feel when you do this practice. I do this practice, it's music, I move this thing around, it feels good to me, and I connect with the present moment. And by connecting with that present moment and getting this feedback loop of this beauty that comes, I do more connecting of the present moment. I react to how I feel and to what is coming back at me, and it builds. And so this thing starts to build, right? And I'm changing the notes, and that's one of the biggest things to really, it's the most important emotional part of this piece, because when these chords change, it really has a feeling shift, at least to me. So I have 3 notes on the keyboard that are connected to tides, volts per octave, and it transposes the whole thing. But there's all these other notes. There's 3 other notes happening, 3 other pitches that are happening with 3 other rhythms. So it's this whole ensemble that I can shift around with the keyboard, which is like, it's what I've been desiring with the Modular, is to be able to not just be stuck in a key, not just be stuck in one chord, in one tonality, in one center, in one tone stack, in one note stack, but to be able to shift those around, like music. I mean, there's plenty of music that's drone based and based on fixed tonality and fixed roots, and a lot of the music that I love so much, like Hindustani music, North Indian classical music, is based like that. It's not harmonic music in terms of moving and changing harmony. It has a fixed bass, and it's what comes around that. And that's music that I really connect to, but I desire to expand and grow in the areas that I'm in most need of expansion, and harmony and harmonic shifts like that are my challenge. And so I've been working to find ways to get that in the Modular, and this is one way. The piece builds, you're connecting with the present, and so eventually what happens is the deeper wisdom of the moment emerges, and that's represented when the harmonic, shifts cease, and it starts to open up, and it starts to expand, and that's when this kind of stuff really starts to swirl around, and time is no longer as relevant. What was a pulse and what was a structure that you could pretty much count, a certain number of bars, mostly. I did like a half bar at one point, I think, or something like that. A certain number of bars, a certain phrase length you expect, and the harmony shifts, and that was in the beginning. Then eventually, it all starts to dissolve into the ever-present moment. So that's the basic idea of this piece. I'm really happy with the way it came out. So if you like the piece and you want to listen to it in the comfort of your own fill in the blank, check out the Friends compilation on Seil Records. I'm guessing it's Seil, S-E-I-L. I've only emailed with Boris. I'm guessing it's not Seil. Seil, like Geil, like cool or whatever that means. So yeah. There you go. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and you want to see more, or if you just like what I do and you want to give me a big high five, head over to Patreon and throw me a couple dollars for support. Patreon is a platform that enables creatives to accept monthly donations. In my case, donations can get you bonus content, patch notes, monthly hangouts, and one-on-one lessons. Most importantly, donations support me as an artist and allow me to keep making videos. So thank you for your support. Be it a donation, a Bandcamp purchase, an Instagram follow, a like, a kind comment, even a photo of your cat. I truly appreciate it. So this is Lightbath, signing off. Have fun. Stay well.